everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This month is going to be a little bit different. I do have a monthly wrap-up planned for the end of this month, but we're going to start it a little bit early with 5 books that I had my fiance pick me out to read. And he absolutely did not disappoint me. He is not a huge reader. He listens to more audiobooks. He did fantastic. He chose so many different pieces of work that I never thought I would have chose. And he even chose me a book that he knew that I'd gravitate towards on the shelf. So we're going to start with that one first, which is The Collective by Allison Galen. If you've been on this channel, you know that we do read the back of the book, so I'm going to begin with that before delving into my thoughts. Camille Gardner is a grieving and angry mother who 5 years after her daughter's death is still obsessed with the privileged young man she believes to be responsible. When her rash actions draw the attention of a secret group of women, the Collective, Camille is drawn into a dark web where these mothers share their wildly different stories of loss, as well as their desires for justice in a world where privilege denies accountability. Fueled by mutual rage, the Collective members devise and act out retribution fantasies via precise, anonymous, highly coordinated revenge killings. He was absolutely right. He chose this one for me because he knew if I saw it on a shelf, I would immediately gravitate towards it, read the back of the book, and then grab it for myself, and he was not wrong. This book would have been a 5 for me, and would have been just a absolutely wonderful, spectacular book if it had not been for the ending. I was so upset with the way this book ended, like just fuming with how angry I was at how this ended. And of course, I can't dock off too many points for that because like nobody can read your mind to see if you're not gonna like an ending or not. It is a 4-star for me. I would definitely read this again. I highly recommend it if you are into gruesome, murdery horror things. I think this could be right up your alley, and I think you just might love this book. I mean, I absolutely loved it. It was amazing, well-rounded, great characters. Even the villain was just... And there are multiple villains. Hear me out. There are multiple not-so-nice friendly people in this book. I recommend it wholeheartedly. So I had a goal for myself this year. I had multiple goals this year. But one of my big goals this year was to read 5 nonfiction books. I've read 2. And we're in June. The 2 nonfiction books are sitting here in this pile. I'm going to start with Marine Sniper, 93 Confirmed Kills. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Shooter. Well, Shooter is based on a book. Shooter with, what's his name? We just watched him in Four Brothers. Mark Wahlberg. Okay, so Shooter is based on a book series called Point of Impact by, what's his name? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on everyone's names today. Stephen Hunter. And that character is based on who this book is written about, and that is Carlos Hathcock. He was a Marine sniper. He got the highest 93 confirmed kills of his time. And he was also the longest holder for the 1,000-yard shot, I believe. Up until a gentleman from Canada, I think... Oh, I don't want to get this wrong. But I believe a gentleman from Canada now holds the title for the 1,000-yard shot. Don't quote me on any of that. I believe that is truth, but I'm off the top of my head. I could be misremembering. But anyhow, I love Point of Impact. I love Shooter. I watched both the movie and the TV shows. Does not compare to the book. The book is absolutely fantastic, and it's loosely based on Carlos Hathcock, and I've done a lot of research on this gentleman. I've learned so much about reading this book that I did not learn from researching, and it gave me an absolute love for biographies, and I think I'm going to read more, but I don't know what other person I would be interested in reading about. Like, this was a very much shot in the dark. My fiance got this one strictly because he knows how much I love Point of Impact. That's a great series. I've never gotten past the first book. I really need to read the first book, or reread the first book and then go into into the series if that doesn't just tell you how much I'm probably missing of that series. But eventually I'll get there. This was a 4-star book for me though. I absolutely loved this. I've got a new appreciation for Carlos Hathcock. I've learned so much about the gentleman himself. If you're into a biography, I would recommend this book to you. This was a 4-star for me. I really felt like I learned a lot about him and a lot about who he was morally as a person, which was absolutely fascinating. But with that, we're going to sadly jump into the lowest rated book of the month, which was Mrs. Sherlock Holmes, and I was super eager about this. So, Mrs. Sherlock Holmes tells the story of Grace Humiston, the lawyer detective and first woman U.S. District Attorney. I thought I was gonna love that. Who turned her back on New York society life to become one of the nation's greatest crime fighters during an era where women were still not allowed to vote. Still thought I was gonna love it. After agreeing to take the sensational case of missing 18-year-old Ruth Kruger, Grace and her partner, the hard-boiled detective Julius J. Cron, navigated a dangerous web of secret boyfriends, two-faced cops, underground tunnels, rumors of white slavery, and a mysterious pale man in a desperate race against time. The book was not bad. I am glad that I read this book. I don't feel like I wasted my time. With all of that being said, it is a 2-star book for me because I had the hardest time getting through this book. I don't know if it was the nonfiction of it all. I don't know if it just wasn't holding my attention. I almost DNF'd it, not once, but twice. And I hate DNFing books. I have this little shelf up here is DNF'd books. And if you can tell, there's only the Club, Immortal Longings, and the entire ACOTAR series because I made it through the first book and I haven't been able to get through the second. That's neither here nor there. I almost DNF'd this book. Something about it just was not gripping my attention. So eventually I want to go back and reread it. Maybe get a couple of other nonfiction books under my belt and then see if I can, see if I can get like something to grasp my attention at this and be able to hold on to it. This next one is a huge shock to me. It's Masters of Death by, I think her name is Olivia Blake? I don't want to say her name wrong. I did not think I was going to like this book at all. I was not looking forward to it. When my fiance handed it to me, he's like, I'm grabbing this because I know you would never grab this. Viola Merrick is a struggling real estate agent and a vampire, but her biggest problem currently is that the house she needs to sell is haunted. The ghost haunting the house has been murdered, and until he can solve the mystery of how he died, he refuses to move on. That's not the part that made me not want to read it. I love horror. I love thrillers. This is not that. This is pure fantasy. And this is like right up my fiance's alley. This is why I couldn't get through ACOTAR. Is I have a hard time grasping onto fantasy. It doesn't captivate my attention. But let me continue. Foxty Moore is a medium, and though he is also most definitely a shameless fraud, he isn't entirely without his uses, seeing as he's actually the godson of death. When Viola seeks out Fox to help her with the ghost-infested mansion, he becomes inextricably involved in a quest that neither he nor Vi expects or wants. But with the help of an unruly poltergeist, a demonic personal trainer, a sharp-voiced angel, a love-stricken reaper, and a few mindfulness-practicing creatures, Vi and Fox soon discover that the difference between a mysterious lost love and an annoying dead body isn't nearly as distinct as they thought. The first 4 chapters of this book were so slow for me to get into, and then out of nowhere, something gripped me. And I fell in love with this book. I really, really liked this book. I thought it was great. This was a 4-star read for me. It showed at how well, like, okay, let me show you the illustration in the book because some people really enjoy the illustrations of books. Look at how good that is. Like, that's so detailed, so beautiful. I was surprised. I thought that maybe I was just incapable of loving a fantasy novel after trying to read those and failing miserably at it. but it's not me. There's something about ACOTAR. I got past the first book. I can't get through the second. My fiancés listened to them all, the graphic audios, on Audible, and I can't make it through the second book. So I was so relieved when I read this and fell in love with it. I was so happy. 4 stars. I am so happy that I'm not broken, because I like fantasy books. There's just something about ACOTAR I have a hard time getting through. Save the best for last is my fiance's favorite book series, favorite book. If you want him to talk your ear off about something, this would be it. I knew a lot about the later books of this series from him talking to me about it, but The Terminalist by Jack Carr. On his last combat deployment as a Navy SEAL, Lieutenant Commander James Reese's entire team was killed in a catastrophic ambush that also claimed the lives of the aircrew sent in to rescue them. But when those dearest to him are murdered on the day of his homecoming, Reese discovers that this was not an act of war by a foreign enemy, but a conspiracy that runs to the highest levels of his own government. They have taken everything from him. Now it's his turn. With nothing left to lose, Reese applies lessons learned in more than a decade of constant warfare towards avenging the deaths of his family and teammates. It was so good. It was so good. I'm just going to jump to the rating and then get into this book. This book is a 4.5. This book is a 4.5. I really wanted to give this one a 5, but I'm going to read the rest of this series. I am going to get my hands on the rest of the series. I'm going to read it. It was so good, you guys. Like, James Reese almost knocked Rowan out of my favorite character. Like, Rowan from Butcher and Blackbird Rowan has been my longtime favorite character since I read that book. James Reese almost took the cake. And it would be a 5-star if it didn't take me so long to get through. I had to reread pages. I had to go back chapters because I felt I missed things. With that being said, it couldn't make it a 5-star, but it is up there. I absolutely love this book. If you are into something action-packed, which with a lot of sadness, I did cry in this book. There is a scene with his wife and daughter. I'm not going to spoil anything. I don't spoil things. You guys know that. There's a scene with his wife and daughter, and I bawled my eyes. I just completely bawled my eyes out. And then there was other scenes that made me bawl. This book was a roller coaster of making me cry versus making me okay just to make me cry again. This was a masterpiece. I am so happy I read this book. I had an absolute blast reading these books. It was so much fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any book recommendations, I'd love to hear them. I think I am just about filled up on my TBR card. I have 2 more hauls to do, and then I will not be buying books anytime soon until I can get through my physical TBR card. I think I can do it. I don't think it'll be an issue, but I do want to get through that card. So, fingers crossed we can do it. I am so excited for the next 6 months to just spend it reading. And of course working and taking care of my dogs and taking care of my family and spending time with friends and that sort of stuff. I'm eager to just read, and I started I can't call it a book journal because it's not a journal. I've tried book journals. I have a book binder. I'm weird. I like lists. I like bullet points and no pictures, just lines of writing. I'm weird. I don't know. If you all have anything that you'd like to see in a video, I would love to hear about it if you wanted to let me know. I'm willing to film a video that y'all are excited to see, so if there is anything y'all want to see, let me know, okay? Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope I'll see you in the next video, and I guess I'll catch you later. Bye!